Happy Hump Day, everybody. Happy Hump Day. This is me, Mr. Purifi, and y'all know today is Pinpoint Podcast Day. And today our special guest is, as y'all know, all guests are special. Today our special guest is Dr. Jeremey Nelson and a Karim Harris. Dr. Jeremey Nelson with Purifi IV. And Purifi IV, he's going to get into detail and talk about what exactly Purifi IV is. And Karim Harris, he's going to talk about outside of club promotions what Purifi IV is. So, hey, this is Mr. Purifi. Y'all know all guests are special. And today on our podcast, we're going to be interviewing Purifi IV. And today their meal of choice is, because you know all guests get to pick their meal of choice. And their meal of choice today was chicken. They wanted some good old Chef JL chicken that they heard about, and some good old red beans and rice with our good old sausage inside the red beans. But again, hey, y'all know everything and all things in real estate, so we're gonna get into talking about real estate, office space, and everything as well with Dr. Nelson and Karim Harris. Again, we hope y'all enjoying the show, and we hope y'all enjoy the Pinpoint Podcast show, because y'all know all things is real estate, and this is me, Mr. Purifi, and hey, get ready for our Pinpoint Podcast Wednesday. Pinpoint, that's what it's all about. Everybody. Welcome to Pinpoint Podcast on Hump Day Wednesday. It's me, Mr. Purifi. As y'all know, all guests are special. All guests are special in all things of real estate. Today we have two special guests here that's going to talk about different things about this period of life, business. One of them is a doctor. His name is Dr. Jeremey Nelson. And then we have here our other guest is Mr. Karim Harris out of Jersey. I'm going to let them tell y'all who it be, but y'all know what we do at Pinpoint. Before we get into our questions and Q&As at Pinpoint Podcast, y'all know we like y'all to follow. We like to ask y'all to follow us, like and subscribe on our YouTube page, Pinpoint Foundation. But we got to leave a toast up. We're going to toast the good black man being in business.
Cheers.
So let's get started with the introduction. First, doctor, tell us your name, where you're from, and then when you tell us, I want Mr. Karim. He's next, before we start this Q&A.
My name is Jeremey Nelson. I'm a medical doctor from Macon, Georgia.
Dr. Jeremey.
Dr. Jeremey.
Maybe put some respect on the name.
Hey, I appreciate it. From Macon, Georgia. I went to University of Georgia for undergrad, trained up at Harry Medical College, UT Southwest, and Emory. I'm the medical director and one of the owners of Purifi IV, which is an IV hydration, vitamin infusion lounge. Also, I'm a full-time ER physician, and I work for a couple of different hospital systems in the city. And with that, I introduce my brother here.
Okay, hey guys, I'm happy to and Junior. My name is Karim Harris.
Thank you for coming out. Great to look with y'all, brother.
Anytime. My name is Karim Harris. I am business development for Purifi. I'm Dr. Nelson's brother. We do a lot of business in Atlanta, around Atlanta, and in the Southeast. And we're just happy to be here to support this platform and share what we do and some of our passions and endeavors that we are a part of in this great city of Atlanta.
Right. Okay. Where you from exactly?
I'm from New Jersey.
What part of New Jersey?
Oh man, Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton, New
What
Jersey.
they say about Trenton, New Jersey?
Trenton makes the world takes.
Trenton makes
the world takes. It's
I thought it was the other way around.
No, it's a bridge. That's the words on the bridge. Trenton makes, the world takes. It's in one of the foremost industrialized cities on the East Coast that that left when technology came. So yeah, I'm from Trenton.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go and hop on in this real quick. All right. So we're gonna talk about why the guests are special, because all guests are special here on Pinpoint, and we always like to cook with their meal of choice. Their meal of choice. For Dr. Nelson's meal of choice was he just wanted some plain simple. Some chicken and some red beans.
That's it.
Whatever go with it. So that's when he got his meal of choice, right? Right. And then he graced us with the presence of Mr. Harry. So we're gonna jump in with the question of first. You being from Macon, tell us your journey from being to Macon. What got you to come down here to Atlanta?
Yeah, so if you like in a major city, you always have smaller cities that kind of surround them. Macon's pretty much a part of it. And you say Metro Atlanta, but Metro Atlanta's a little bit.
Macon.
Listen, this is my vacation spot when I was young.
Okay.
You can't go to. It's still Macon, but we spend a lot of time in Atlanta. I actually spent part of my life up here, around my middle school years, and then went to high school down in Macon. So, Atlanta's always kind of been a part of my upbringing.
Okay.
But
45 minutes up the street.
yeah, like an hour and a half, something like that.
Okay.
So it's kind of full circle for me. I actually left Macon. I went to school up in Athens, at the University of Georgia, and then I took my talents down to up to Nashville, and then kind of went to Texas and came back around to Atlanta.
What part of Texas?
Dallas.
I go to.
Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, I did a little bit time.
Ain't nothing wrong with Dallas. I'm from Houston.
Listen, I did a little bit.
Anybody from Dallas?
I did a little bit time, a little Herman. So I spent a few months in Houston working.
H-Town, baby.
H-Town, hey. Close as H-Town and Atlanta, we pretty tight. So.
Yeah. It's the Houston now is going to be the new Atlanta what it was back in the 1990s. They just came in.
That's
So
it.
New York and LA always been more big. Then there was Atlanta. Detroit came in that out as well. But then Houston was kind of behind.
No, Houston's always been one of those cities that's kind of special because I'll tell you, that was the first city I felt like I was at home outside of Macon and Atlanta, really.
Right.
But so, getting back to it's full circle for me. My family's here, so it's good to kind of get away for a while, see other parts of the country, and then come full circle and back home with my family and where I was raised. So that's kind of how I got back here. My mission of life was always to come back in and do some good things. So
Come back and we're going to get into those good things.
That's it.
So, Mr. Karim,
Talk to
what
me.
brought you down here from Trenton?
Well,
Take it and America make it. I know you said it in reverse.
So-
I'm gonna say it about.
It's okay. You have to admit you have to have
that.
All right, so I came from Boston. I got a basketball scholarship to go to college at Northeast University in Boston, where I was thrilled to go.
Balling?
A little bit. But I got a scholarship, went to Boston, went there for 3.5 years, and decided that I wanted to go and play basketball and get an education somewhere else. So Atlanta became the destination, and I haven't looked back since. It's been the best decision.
Did you come down and transfer to different college, or you just?
Yeah, I transferred. I got another basketball scholarship.
Where you go?
Clayton State. I got
Clayton State?
Yep. I came down here to Clayton State, got a degree. Came for 2 years, got a degree in communications and media studies, and it was one of the best decisions I made in my life.
Big difference from Trenton, right?
Big difference from Boston, from Trenton. I came to
What's the biggest difference?
which one?
I mean, from Boston and Trenton. Because Atlanta, you said it was a big difference.
Well. The biggest difference I would say is the opportunity and the opportunity for Black people to be a part and to achieve excellence with no ceiling.
Right. What year did you get here?
I got here in 99. I got to Atlanta in 1900.
What year you got here?
I can't.
I mean, I know you kind of grew up back and forth. I mean, you just say, okay, I'm coming. You say with the college.
Yeah. So similar situation. I went to college in 99. 1999, and I came back in 2010.
Okay, you came back in
2010, yeah.
Oh, when you came back out of...
Well, I was in Athens till 03, so, but then I came back to Atlanta back in 2010.
So, at that age, y'all in your young ages, 20s, I'm assuming, mid-20s, early 20s, mid-20s, what made you, Karim, just say, hey, all right, I've transferred from college. I've been to Boston, from Trenton. Now I'm here in Atlanta. You say there's a difference, of course, black prosperity, the same way I got down here from Houston. What made you know this was going to be your home base? What showed you to say, hey, this is where I need to be to morph into the man that I'm going to become?
Okay, that's a great question. For me, right? So I come down here on my visit I got here on Friday afternoon. And Friday evening, the Hawks is playing. So they say, hey, we're going to take you to a Hawks game. I get to the Hawks game, and you know how they got the kiss cam and they got the dance camera, right? So I'm sitting in this arena coming from Boston, and they got like different people on the screen dancing. And this one guy, he's up there. He's doing his dance. He started doing this bounce with his shoulders. And the arena is all black. They going crazy. I said, oh my God.
You ain't seen nothing like that before.
I hadn't seen that coming from New Jersey or Boston. I said, wow. This is like paradise. And then they go around to the other people in the arena, and my man started hitting the bounce. And his bounce just became heavier and heavier, and the crowd just got into it, and I said, this is home for me.
Oh, the bounce got you here. You bounced over
The bankhead bounce. And he kept hitting that bounce so hard. I said, and everybody in the arena, including the white people, everybody was just engaged. And I said, this is home.
Engaged in the bounce?
In the bounce.
Was that the bankhead bounce?
The bankhead bounce. So that's what, led me to stay in Atlanta and to come.
We could be safe to say that would bounce you to stay in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You was already led, but you got bounced on in.
That's absolutely.
Inducted, right?
Cheers. To the bankhead bounce.
So after you did that, all right, now y'all know what it's time to do. You're here. Your feet planted, Karim. I need to make some money. I done bankhead bound long enough. What career I'm supposed to get into? What I'm supposed to do? What this city brings me that's making me want to stay here? To where making me know I'm supposed to be here and make my money. What occupation you got into?
So I got into my first occupation in Atlanta was promotions. One of my cousins, he was pretty prominent coming from Virginia. He was here maybe about 4 years before I got here, and he was they did parties, some of the biggest parties in the DMV area. He was like, yo, I got Atlanta, man, come to Atlanta. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know if I want to be in the South. So he was working promotions and really, really killing it. And I saw an opportunity for me to come in and follow his lead. They were doing parties all around the city, some of the biggest parties you can imagine in Atlanta. And I was lucky enough to be a part of that process and his journey of being one of the top promoters in Atlanta. So that was my first endeavor of coming to Atlanta. Anytime you're a promoter, you get to connect and meet with so many different people that's doing so many different things. And if you're good and people like you, then it open up doors for other opportunities.
Right. Open up the doors for other opportunities. So the promotion, what are some of the places you promoted at that you still have a memory to this day?
Man, I could say Cloud9, Fuel. This is an old Buckhead. When Buckhead was like a destination.
This ain't what Buckhead was saying.
Yeah, when Buckhead was not. When Buckhead was Buckhead.
Buckhead was
When Buckhead was Buckhead.
Buckhead.
Yeah, so I got an opportunity to see it from a completely different lens, and be able to contribute, add value, and have a good time and meet great people at the same time.
Right. Well, Atlanta didn't bring you that. Did you get caught up in the strip club?
The strip club never really been my thing.
That wasn't the question.
So no, I never got caught up. I was always there.
Frequently or
Both.
so you didn't get caught up?
I didn't get caught up, but I was there frequently.
So you frequently was there, but you wasn't caught up frequently.
It was both.
But you didn't get caught up.
I didn't get caught up.
But you
Thankfully.
frequently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that
The
means
strip
one
club is
club.
like the golf course.
That's one of the things that we call the night.
No. The strip club is like the golf course or the bar. It's where we can go and talk business and talk shop and engage with each other in a different light.
Yeah, you make a lot of money back in those days.
Yeah, that's where business deals went down.
So you didn't look at the window really.
Oh, absolutely. That was
So you
just
caught up.
yeah. I was out there both.
Let me tell you a story. I got a piggyback off this. I got a piggyback. So I'm gonna paint this picture. So I'm back in Atlanta like it's 2011. So we catch up. We got some, it's a whole crew of us between here and Carolina and Florida and everywhere, Jersey and everywhere. And so I get with Karim. They said, hey, you gotta get Karim. He connected. He can, if you want to get into a club, he knows everybody. Blah blah blah. So I'm a resident at this point. I'm coming from Texas. I'm a resident of Emory.
Right.
My first year. I got like vacation time, but I don't go anywhere. Right? I ain't got no money. I can't. So I stay home. I had to go to Macon, see my mom. I hang out in Atlanta.
You was what my daughter called was, I don't understand her concept, but she said, Dad, I'm a broke college student.
I said, broke college residency was much.
And having a broke college student makes me a broke ass dad. I'm a broke college student, so I don't know who wants broke.
Hey, listen.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We got some broke families, so what about sending money?
Yeah.
But so I catch up with Ring. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna catch up with it. I'm gonna go out a couple times this week. I'm off. He said, man, don't worry about it. I can get you in somewhere every day. This week I have you in the VIP section. I say, hey man, I'm a little broke. Hey, he said, you don't need no money, you don't need sweat. Every day that week.
Every day y'all
Monday through Sunday we was in a jumping spot in the VIP section.
And how many?
Hanging out with celebrities, athletes, just chilling.
And how many of them days y'all in the strip club?
We really, he right. We didn't do a ton of that.
Y'all didn't do it.
We were club. We doing club.
Club.
That's back when you had Rain and you had Vanquish. AG had all the clubs. We hanging out at Compound. We doing spots like that.
Oh, okay.
Kicking it. Yeah.
Well, I guess y'all was kind of younger than me because I know back in the early 19.
Oh, so you was at Club Nicky's.
Oh yeah.
You was
Valley Tap.
Listen, I ain't even knock. I was yeah, I was at Club Nicky. I was at VIP Nicky. I was at one of them Stewart Avenue, VIP Nicky, General Club, Magic City, Blue Flame, all the gutter ones off of
Cleveland,
and all that. Off
Moreland.
Industrial, Moreland. So I was a strip club junkie at this.
So you want to push that on. I was never a strip club junkie. However,
I started in Houston though.
I see, yeah. That's
I started
fair.
at the Nights of Round Table. I was 15. I had a fake ID, and I already looked real young. But I had a fake ID because back then you had to be 18
to just
to
go.
get in the club, and when I was growing up, you had to be 18 to drink. Then when I turned 21, it became 21, so I was always legal at the age of 18, but I've been drinking since 13. You see? And so I've always been a little speedball. I started a strip club in Houston But I've never seen a strip club like I seen the ones out here.
In Atlanta, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I ain't seen no strip club like this. Miami come close, and then Houston, it wasn't nothing like this. But we always did business in the strip club. We did very business. But the club that y'all was in, y'all was just going to the club, making your mark, down here from Jersey, paying feet, promoting everything. And the promotion, how long did that last where you say, this, I mean, how long did you, when you started in it, this is what I want to be doing. Because you're meeting everybody, because like Dr. Nelson said, you're able to put him in all places, where the happening places at.
So one thing I'll say is that for me it was a college term opportunities. I was in college, figuring it out. I was a little more mature. I was an upperclassman, but at the same time, I had chosen Atlanta to be my destination. So having access and opportunity at that time in my life, you know, to party with people, have access, you know, navigate, move around. The great city of Atlanta, the way I was moving, because I had, you know, family that opened the doors up to me. My family was like, yo, him, let him just do him.
When you say family, friends, or you actually
Yeah, I had a family. My cousin, who's moved on now. Rest in peace, Malcolm.
Rest in peace, Malcolm.
So he opened up the doors for me to come here, and you know, while I was in college, and it just led me into so many different meeting people, connecting, and being invited into business opportunities, being invited into social things to connect with people. Like, it just was transformational. So I took the opportunity, the promotions thing, and said, you know what, let me network, let me meet everybody I can meet with, and be able to contribute and add value.
You told me earlier, you network, and you said, no one is a stranger.
I never met a stranger.
Never met a stranger.
No.
And it's bound that you meet them.
So with that, I talk to everybody intentionally, on purpose. I think it's a unique tool to be able to have two ears and one mouth, right? So just by having the ability to introduce yourself to people, it's a superpower these days. It's always been a superpower to introduce yourself to someone and say, hey, how you doing, man? My name is Karim, man. Seems like an amazing guy, man. What's up? You want to drink? Where you from? Just talking to people, man. This goes a long way. It's one of those things that can open up doors and break down barriers, and you just never know where things can go.
Right. Communication is the key to life.
Absolutely.
And being having this personality where people gravitate to you is an extra plus.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna go to the doctor here. So you from Macon, you know, I already came to Atlanta, went to college. Then I know you said you became a resident down there in Texas, Dallas,
Unfortunately.
Yeah, Dallas. I ain't no hate to Dallas. That's joke. I'll be confused. But you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I got no people. But nevertheless, what made you, let's gravitate back. What made you say, at what age did you know you wanted to become a doctor? And at what age did you say, I'm going to prepare myself to become a doctor? I want to be a doctor. Because being a black man, that's not something that we grow up to think about. To become a doctor, want to be a doctor, dream about a doctor, or doing nothing else. You know what our background calls for. Either entertainment business, acting business, or the sports business, something like that. Something with entertainment, performance. So what made you say, I want to be a doctor?
You know, it's crazy.
And at the age.
And the crazy thing is, I was about 5. It's crazy. So, you know, you remember, I'm 5 or 6. I do. You know the show Doogie House on MD? Remember Doogie House on MD?
I remember that show.
I want to be Doogie House. I want to be a young doctor. I was like, oh yeah, I can help people. I can start at a young age. You know, I can push into this field that I don't see a lot of people that look like me. Right? And I can help my people. You know, in my community. I saw a lot of people growing up, you know, we had a lot of people with issues, right? Like medical problems that they go to the doctor. And I was like, well, maybe if they have a doctor that they can relate to and understood what's culture and what obstacles they face. So maybe make it easier for them, knock down some of the barriers to access and help people. And so the crazy thing is at a very young age, I kind of realized that there was definitely a deficit in our community as far as medical treatment and access to medical care. My grandmother said when I was 5, she said he was a preacher, doctor, or in jail. So it was a wide range, but she picked right.
Tell always gotta be
It's
one.
gotta be.
They gonna give you 2
You can always
of them.
go left. Don't
Or
take
that's
that.
the last one.
That was the last one.
Yeah.
Preacher was first, which was odd.
Yeah.
Because I was always a rough kid. But,
Right.
but I, you know, my mom, you know, I played sports. You know, it's always cool to play sports, right? So I played sports, and I went to undergrad on the football scholarship too. And my mom was a teacher, and so I was blessed enough. I had one parent, but I had one good parent, and I had a good mom, and she was a teacher, and she said, "Listen, don't let anybody put you in the box. So you be good at sports, you be good at academics, you play instruments. I play 2 instruments. Talking about when I taught Spanish. You know, she's like, you can do anything you want to do. You can do everything you want to do. She's like, as a matter of fact, you know, around 12, she told me, hey, you better do something to get a scholarship. You ain't got no money to send
Right.
She was like,
She proud of
so
you.
she brought me up at a young age and around 12, she said, hey, you know, you gotta get a scholarship.
Yeah.
Whatever that saxophone, that football, baseball, field, or something, academics. So, you know, I tried to do both, but I always knew, even when I wanted to play sports and my ambition was playing the NFL or whatever, I was always like, at some point, I'll stop playing and go medical school. So I kind of prepared myself at a young age, and I tried to put myself in a position. Because, you know, we talk about this all the time. Life is all about putting yourself in a position, right, to be successful.
And being successful is about, all right, at 5 years old, 5, 6 years old, junior college, you already knew, and this is where you want to go. All right, now you know this is where you want to go. Now you got to start preparing yourself. Say your mother told you a couple places you want to be, right? Jail was the last. You always come on black people.
Yeah.
Like you want that there.
Right.
But unfortunately, in the areas that we do, single parent homes, I don't know if you single parent homes in America.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so all 3 of us single parent homes.
Come from the mess.
You know, right. It just comes with the territory. You know, we got to struggle. Be where we are. Our mothers can't get raised us how to be a man. They try their best. You know, they got to kind of morph into that. So here it is. You become a young man. That's where you go. You got to get a scholarship. But you're good at football. Obviously, you play the saxophone. When you dig in your head, you revert back to what you want to be at 5, 6 years old and say, you know what? Football fun. You got a scholarship. I like the saxophone. I think I might need to go to this other thing. Be a doctor. When did that preparation start?
You know, the crazy thing is in high school, I was an international baccalaureate program. So I was probably one of the few people that didn't have a parent that was like an engineer or a doctor. My mom was a teacher, she was a professional, but like high paying professional.
Teachers should be got paid.
They should be. They're definitely well educated. She had a master's, but you know, unfortunately not. But so I had an opportunity to be around people in those circles where I could, and they didn't necessarily look like me, but they still, because I was in that circle, they were able to give me some insight into the things that I need to do to prepare myself outside of academia.
So they ain't hold nothing back.
They looked out. You know, some good people out there. They look out.
No, there's a lot of good people out there when they see some good in you.
Even though they don't have to, and that's the key.
They gotta see some good in you.
They gotta see
make them want to put that time into it.
They gotta see that you're gonna work for it. They like, people love people that work hard. You work hard, you like we were talking about, you get an opportunity, you get in certain circles, you know, you go in there, you meet everybody, you work hard, people give you an opportunity. And that's when I finally, and I want to be a doctor. I don't watch a movie or whatever, and I have no idea what to do to be a doctor. I just know I
You
need to
just
get
know
school.
that particular cartoon, that particular show, you took high interest.
Took high interest.
Then the top part said the seed is what I call it, seed started planting. So what we're gonna do on this note, y'all know what Pick on the podcast, we're gonna take us 5, and then we're gonna come back and go back into Mr. Harris for his promotion and Dr. Nelson. We're talking about that seed where he said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for the show. We'll be back right back at you, Pick on the podcast.
Welcome to the new townhome residence coming soon, Pointe Park. These modern luxury units will be located on Butner Road in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, just minutes away from the downtown area and the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. The 7 units will include an open floor plan, rooftop patio, 3 bedrooms with 2 masters, and so many more luxurious details. For more information on Pinpoint Foundation's latest development, please visit pinpointfoundation.org. And for interest in pre-sales, please visit our website, pinpointbrokers.net. We hope your new home awaits you.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. I'm here with Dr. Jeremy Nelson and Mr. Karim Harris, the promoter and the doctor. That's what kind of podcast we having over here today at Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know everything about real estate. We're going to pick up where we left off. We talked about that seed that was planted with Dr. Nelson, and we're going to go back to the promotions with Mr. Harris. So, Mr. Harris, let's just step back on with it to you. I know let's pick up where we left off with you. You say you started moving around. We talked about the strip club. We talked about the journeys and everything. Name some of the places where you did your promotions. Now, into your promotions where you did your club, tell me give me the best time of your life in that position. And what was the best club that you probably said you promoted?
I gotta be.
That's a 2-part question now.
Okay. So I'm gonna be brutally honest, man. The best club, I had nothing to do with this promotion. Was Visions on Peachtree with Alex Gideon.
Oh, Visions, shit. We all know that one.
Entertainment. That was the best.
I gave my 35th, I gave a big 35 birthday party. I had a club out at a restaurant out at I think my restaurant then was on Snellville. Now the first one when I turned 35 it was on Roswell Road. And then we gave the big thing. That's when Keisha Cole came out. Was that? Oh, 35, 36 a bit.
What year was that?
He trying to even tell my age. It was $1,900. It was, I think it was around 2005,
Okay,
maybe.
so that's right around
2005.
those were some of the golden years.
Yeah.
But no, I've always taken pride in not being a promoter. I've never been a promoter in Atlanta.
You never been a promoter in Atlanta?
Nah. I've always been a businessman who understood how to influence people and to move in a certain direction.
Right. So which club was the best one you had the best time at, moving in that direction?
Visions.
Vision
Or compound.
or compound? Oh.
Absolutely.
I remember compound.
AG Entertainment was just like, he's always been the king of great experiences.
Right.
And I think the universe hasn't given him his flowers, you know.
Did he owned Visions too though, right?
Yeah, he owned Visions.
He owned Visions and Visions and compound.
Yeah, he was, I think he was probably one of the centerpieces of why Atlanta had a lot of success. He was a visionary.
I would agree with that except for one thing. I got a good partner of mine out of Houston. Thomas Dixon, who owned the Echelon, the
Thomas is my man. Real good people.
That's my main man.
Solid.
So I ain't gonna say Alex over here. I'm gonna pick Thomas over here. I'm just saying what I'm gonna pick.
No, but you can talk about either one of them and
He had longevity. Then you
But I just
got
think-
computers and money fellows.
I think they learn so much from each other.
I ain't gonna say that one either.
I know them both very well. I think they learn so much from each other, which is okay. That's what we do in business. We identify, we do a strength, weakness, threats, and opportunities analysis on any enterprise that we go into, right?
Right.
So we know who our threats are. We know who our competition is. And I feel like both of them study one another and learn a lot from
I'm rather strong with this.
being able to benefit from understanding their target market.
Well, let me tell you why I'm going to have to strongly disagree. Because Thomas, my main man, his audience was always an older crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, his crowd was always the in crowd at the time crowd. He had a crowd that was going whether it was young or middle age.
But Atlanta don't operate like that.
No, if you visited Echelon, his first Echelon was off of Franklin Road. Then he had opened up the Echelon and Flavors off of Memorial Drive. Then he opened up Taboo. The only reason he left Taboo is because they sold the place. Then he opened up the place next to the place that he helped open up that I ended up buying. That was in next to Club and Soda in South Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Then he opened up over there off of Greenbrier. Now, and then he had the Blue Room. So now his crowd was always an older crowd. And one thing I can talk about my man is he didn't take no notes from nobody. He wrote. Hold on, man, I gotta talk my shit. He wrote the notes and then left it behind because the way he operated, why he's still in business today, he knew he was an attorney as well. He had the same staff every time he opened up a place. And now that's a very hard thing to do.
It's very good, especially in that
A
industry.
very hard thing to do. Everywhere he go, his staff follows because he knows how to take care of him and pay him. And then his audience is totally different. And he gonna always have audience what people love and they forgot about, he get them back. You see what I'm saying? So he has that quality. So
Well,
he
the
still
same
got
thing
to
up in that.
right. That's what I said. Bermuda, right here off the
Bermuda, yeah.
right over there.
Absolutely.
Bermuda.
But
But Alex is just he is very well rounded too. His target, while he was successful, he gonna target your balls, the in crowd, the people out there hustling and everything. Tom was targeting working people.
So, and that's great, right? But let's break it down and make it make sense with business, right?
Right.
In order to sustain each model, right, you need to have people to run your processes and your systems, right?
Right.
And I feel like both of them learn from one another in understanding or seeing the value in having great people to run this shit, because 7 days go by quickly.
Yeah.
We gotta do something every Friday or every Thursday or every Wednesday. So you're gonna need people to run these machines, right? And I feel like, and there's nothing wrong with us learning from one another as we compete with each other. If I don't know the play that you're running, or you don't know the play that I'm running, how I'm gonna defend it,
Right.
right? Or how we gonna really compete? So we definitely have to scout one another.
You kind of sound like Tom Brady when he was.
No, we gotta scout one another to understand, like, okay, maybe I'm missing something, or maybe I'm missing something somewhere along the way. So,
Yeah.
to both of their credit, I feel like they both are supreme businessmen that's elevated, right? But I think they learn from one another, each one of them successes and their mistakes.
And I'll say, I think.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, and I think they both had kind of different lanes too. Like,
Yeah.
I know AG, through Green. I don't know your guy, but just based on the clubs you threw out there that they own, I can tell you when I was younger, we hit the AG spots, but I probably go more of your people's spots now.
Right.
Monticello's and Music Bar and South, even South, back in the day.
Right,
so
right.
I agree with you on saying he had an older crowd.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm saying.
Like
both
a
of
little
them
bit
had their own lane.
Atlanta don't distinct crowd. Like Atlanta is a different city. Some cities, older crowd goes certain spaces, or younger crowd. Atlanta is not like that. Atlanta is a city where the old mixed with the young mixed with the old, and it's a melting pot city. So it's not like you can distinguish that. You can like gear your promotions and say, okay, I know I'm targeting a certain group, but if your shit fly, your shit hot,
And this crowd takes over their doing. Yeah.
they coming. Period. Ain't no like.
But based on the music you play, like Monticello,
It ain't even based. It's based on.
It's based.
Nah, it ain't even about the music. It's about
the hype.
experience and the hype. The motherfuckers gonna be like, oh, nah, fuck that. We're gonna go take over. By the time we get there, they gonna be playing our music.
Yeah.
Because we there.
They're gonna make them change. They're gonna change the agenda.
That's true. That's true.
No, I get with that.
So I think they both experienced that. And they both supreme businessmen.
All those spots.
Yeah, to have been doing it for so long.
Anytime you can last 2 decades in that industry,
Yes.
and I know Tony got 3 decades. I know Alan got about 2.5 decades. So you can't take nothing from either one of them, because both of them still around. And this 2022, man, about to go into 2023. And we talking about both of these cats being in the 1900s and 90s, man. So we already know you followed 1990. This about to be 2023 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So both of them are, like you say, supreme in their crowd. Only thing I disagree about is as far as taking a note, because I know this guy and he focused on this particular area, and I've seen him open each one of his spots. And he got a particular way of he doing business, and I'm in great admiration of it. Now, Alex as well, but like you said, you know both. I know about it, of course, frequent his spots. But to know him, I know him one-on-one because we met, because when I opened up my spot in 78, when he was closing down Vision, me and him talked, I got a couple of things from him. However, that's my extent of knowing him. So you know him a little bit closer than I do, but I know how both of them operate. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know about both. I know what this guy's audience is versus this guy's audience. You know, but both of them is in their entertainment life to where whatever their craft is, both of them truly has been the most successful in Atlanta. I know you've been in the business and you see a lot of them come and go in our business, right?
Absolutely. It's easy to get swallowed up.
Right. You see a lot of them come and go. But I mean, if you get past, I say 5 years, 60 months, half a decade in that business, you doing good. You know what I mean? Well, let's jump on into the scene where you say you started, Dr. Nelson. We talked about Doogie Howser, MD. We talked about, you say, okay, I knew I was going to do this, but at 12 I was playing football, playing the saxophone, doing all this. You got your scholarship with football, right? So, okay, what age and when did you say, you know what, let me try let me try to do this doctor thing versus this football thing? Where did the transition actually start and the journey begin?
I'll tell you. So, the first day I stepped on campus in practice, I knew I would never play pro ball.
Oh, yeah?
I already had in my mind. Hey, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to get to it. I already had in my mind that, I was going to play football. I was like, maybe I get a shot at the pros, maybe not. And I always knew that I wanted to go to medical school either way. Either when I was done playing or whether it was pros or college. But first day I stepped on campus, I'm walking out the door. This Buttsmere, this UGA. I'm walking to the field, and there's a couple guys out there doing passing drills. So they're just doing like quarterback drills, whatever. So it's a receiver out there, it's a running back, it's a cornerback out there. I can't recognize it about them because I'm walking to the field a little far away. And so the quarterback goes, he fakes the throw to the running back, the receiver's going down the field, the quarterback bites. So the receiver got 7 to 10 yards on him, downfield. Pumps, he jumps, then he pulls back and puts the ball up in there for the receiver. He's got 10 yards on his cornerback, right? Cornerback digs into the ground, turns around, runs the other way. By the time the ball comes down, he's down to the bat of the way. Recovered just like that. I said, boy, if you gotta be that good to play pro ball, I ain't gonna make it. Fast forward, how many years later, that quarterback was Champ Bailey, so he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, obviously.
Yeah.
But I said, if you gotta be that good, I ain't gonna make it. So I should probably start, I'm gonna have fun playing, but I should understand that I'm gonna have to do something a little different.
Yes.
So either way though, I had a couple injuries and it was cool. I could have came back for a fourth and fifth year and recovered and did a redshirt year, but I was like, I had fun playing. It's time for me to move on with my life. And so probably around my third year of college when I kind of stopped playing ball, I focused on my academics, got ready for I was already focused, but I kind of really geared in
So you
geared up.
was a junior in college?
I was probably about a junior in college. But I had good grades already. I always kind of kept my grades up because my mom was crazy.
Right.
Like if I had made bad grades, she would snatch me off that. She didn't care, college, high school, pros. My mom was gonna come give me the grades with that. So, but around 30, I had a couple injuries. They're like, "Oh, won't you come back? You do a redshirt year. You still 50." I was like, "Nah, it's time for me to move on to my MCAS and apply to med school."
So when you got into that, what school was you at?
Went to Meharry.
Huh?
Meharry Medical College.
Where was that? In Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah.
You never heard of Meharry?
HBCU?
Man.
One of the three.
You never heard of Meharry?
Meharry?
All right, so I'm gonna implore you to do your homework because I had to.
Right, I've never heard of it.
I hadn't either until I had to, do my research. But it is, it's a historically black medical school that's producing some of the top talent in the world in terms of medicine.
Oh, wow.
Put out the most black doctors every year.
In the world. And I'm talking about like top tier competing against the creme de la creme of who's who and what's what in our society in medicine. So Meharry is like, I gotta give him a hand clap for the output. And I had to go in and do my own research and figure out, you know, who's those dope ass, phenomenal, black, extraordinarily like smart people that's coming out of medicine that's doing some amazing things.
Right. What made you want to do the research? I'm
Him.
Okay.
Because I wasn't familiar, and I love doing research.
Right.
Right.
I'll tell you why most people hadn't heard of Meharry. And they've heard of Morehouse and they've heard of Howard. Meharry doesn't have an undergrad. Meharry is only medical, dental, and grad school. And we put out the most black physicians and dentists every single year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but because we don't have an undergrad, a lot of people hadn't heard of Meharry. But we have an alliance with Vanderbilt, so we do a lot in Nashville with Vanderbilt and with the county hospital. And, yeah, it's kind of like the Morehouse Emory Alliance, but yeah.
Okay, in the doctor business, okay. So now you say you're a junior, you get into that, you're toughening, you're stiffening up on your grades, because your mama. Yeah.
Mama!
Yeah.
Listen, hey, you take off, man. I just gotta put that out there. A lot of royalty.
Right. So, now let's just put you into your field. I gotta ask this, what's the most gruesome thing you seen?
Uh-oh.
And then what's the most emotional thing you seen? Because obviously becoming a doctor, not that you get desensitized, because you see a lot of it and you can't carry your emotions into it. But however, you come to a point to where this is the everyday norm, seeing somebody disfigured, seeing somebody shot, seeing some parent, some mother, some father crying, breaking down. And then sometimes people have to use this word now. I'm gonna say that we all are gods. Because if you look at your child, if you made a child, I guarantee they're looking like you or their brother or somebody in their family. That's what the God theory is. But they say you doctors are like God, because God actually save lives. So what's your most gruesome and emotional? And how you feel about you having that God syndrome?
I'm gonna answer your second question first, and then I'm gonna change the first question just a little bit.
So you're gonna confuse it, but it's
No, a
okay.
little bit. It's all come full circle. So, I think as far as the God complex, you know, when we train residents, the first thing I always tell them, you know, you can practice medicine two ways. You can have a God complex, or you can understand that there's a higher being, and you're doing the best you can for people. You know, and you know, with the God complex comes a couple things, right? Yeah, when people do well, you can take credit for that. They're like, yo, I did this, I saved a life, blah 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 blah. But when people pass away and they don't do well, you gotta do the same thing. You know, so that's what makes the God complex tough. You know, which is why it's one of those that's dying out. You know, most people are more level-headed.
What's dying out? The God
Like the
complex?
God complex. Yeah, people are way more physicians. I mean, when I was training, there's a lot of physicians that kind of thought like that. But now most people understand that. You know, people always, you know, most people live in a higher being. But you're doing the best that you can for people based on your training and your knowledge. But at the end of the day, it's not in your hands. Because I've seen somebody shoot themselves in the face with a shotgun and live. I seen the kid get hit just right with a BB gun and die. And there's no rhyme or reason for that.
Right.
And you know, you gotta understand that you're a tool used by a higher being who believe in that. And you can only do the best you can and what the higher being allows you to do. So when it's your time, trust me, one thing I learned doing trauma and burns and being in emergency medicine is that when it's your time, you won't go. It's no matter what we do. We can give every drug in the world, you know, do all the heart compressions, chest compressions. When it's your time. So that's kind of how I approach medicine. That's how I train residents and students when I talk to them. Like you gotta decide what type of doctor. I would suggest going this way. If you want to have a God complex, that's your choice. As far as the case, or the patient.
The most gruesome. You mean
Gruesome. I'm gonna give it all to you in one case, one patient, in one case. I'm gonna give you the most gruesome, the most emotional, and the craziest case I ever had. Crazy thing that happened in Texas. That's when I was training.
Dallas or Houston?
This gonna be in Houston.
Right.
This is gonna be at Ben Taub.
I was gonna say Ben Taub. That's your trauma like crazy.
I can remember like it was yesterday. 18-year-old football player, so I kind of, related to a star football player. Leaving the game in a car accident. Gets in an accident. Comes in, talking to us. Awake. In a lot of pain, obviously. He has a stop sign pole. The green pole with the stop sign. To the left side of his chest, where his heart should be. So we all sitting there, we put him on the bed, the EMS, they took the saw and cut it down so we could fit him in. He's on the bed, and we're trying to figure out why he's still alive, right? Because this should be through your heart, right? He shouldn't be alive. So, we're like, okay, let's be cool, let's get the IVs in, get fluid started, get blood.
Y'all had to cut the stop signs down.
Fire, they had the little jaws alike, they had to cut this out, because you can't fit. It's, this thing's long, they couldn't fit him in the ambulance, they had to cut him out. Wow. Came through the window, so everybody else in the car unscathed, we the only one. We're like, so we're sitting there, I'm a resident at the time, I got attendants around me, fellows, and everybody was baffled, like, why is this kid still alive? So they cut the sign down, they cut it about this long so we could fit him in the room. Still got to lay on the side, so we fit him in the bed. So we're like, okay, get everything going, let's get some x-rays and see what's going on. So, everybody's there, right? He just won like a playoff game. 30 people, parents, students, players, all in the waiting area. And they're like, hey, how's he doing? Is he alive? We do an x-ray. The kid has dextrocardia. Dextrocardia is less than point something of the percentage of, talking about the world, where the heart's on the right side. So if you don't believe in God, you should believe in God after that. We take the thing and put the chest tube in, kid walks out of the hospital a few days later.
Dextro what?
Dextrocardia.
And the heart is on the right versus the left?
Super rare, yeah.
Damn.
It's called less than like point something percent, less than 1% of the population in the world.
Because y'all was confused.
We was confused. And we were happy, but we were confused. But kid walks out 2-3 days later. So if you gotta come to place after that, you got a real problem. Because at that point you're like, yo, it gotta be how it is, because it's just no way to happen.
That's amazing.
Crazy. So that's my most gruesome, because it was crazy. My most emotional, and my craziest case ever. I never forget it.
I won't ever forget it.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out who it was. What is it? I'm probably say, oh my God.
Hey, but you know what? Let me tell you something. I always ask the question that you just asked. We share quite a bit, big brothers, and when you're in business with each other, you gotta share a lot, right? So I'm always digging and saying, man, what's up? What's going on? Sometimes they'll call me and say, yo, what's up? Where you at? What's going on? And I'll be like, working or hanging out, whatever. But it's be that one metric tone in his voice that helps me to understand, okay, damn, he must have had a rough day. In the ER.
And you want to talk to the brother.
I don't even just talk, because we don't talk about that.
Just have a drink with you.
Just fellowship.
Fellowship.
Just not talk about nothing, but just drinking and say, yo, how you doing? Like that's important in that profession, to just even understand those dimensions, those layers that exist. Because I couldn't do it. Right? And that's that's a testament to your training, to your personal endurance, and the favor that you give to your profession. But I sometimes be like, whoa. You know, I don't know how you do it.
I'm like, whoa, right now.
Yeah.
I damn want to play the song.
Boy, listen, you imagine going in the Grady every day,
Nah, I can't imagine going.
right? Going in there every day to.
I love Grady. That's why I'm going there every day no more.
So it just gives you, you know, just to give you an idea of, you know, the day to day of what they go through, you know.
Day to day. That you go through that. This is the thing that we talk about that we go through. That we talk about with both of you guys, because I know you do some type of mentoring, right?
So I have a nonprofit. I'm getting a PhD in business management.
Right.
I have a nonprofit. It's we're transitioning. It's called Social Excellence, and it's centered around mentoring, youth exposure, and giving back to the youth in the community.
And that's exactly what I want to talk about to lead up to that. We're going to pick up with you, Karim. We're going to take us another 5 minutes. We're going to come right back in the Pinpoint Podcast. We're going to rejuvenate. I'm going to give me some more coals in my hookah. I guess y'all hookah all right. Mine ain't. And then we're going to come back and we're going to pick up on the youth. We want to talk about the things I'm going today on how you mentor and how you see things in trauma, that how it's affected, and then just from each one of y'all perspective, what you feel could be a solution from different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Or it might be from the same perspective. Hey, we're gonna come right back and pick more podcast. I gotta get my hookah on, y'all.
Hey man, this has been a delight.
At Pinpoint, just like playing golf.
Hi, I'm Mr. Minifi with Pinpoint Commercial Underwriters and Pinpoint Brokers. And we're here again to talk to you about representing you in your next commercial lease location. We're here today in Lawrenceville, Georgia, showing a client a lease space, actually showing two client lease spaces. One of them is for a tapas bar, and another one is for a barber shop. Now, we know a lot of small business owners out there. They say, hey, we can negotiate our own lease because they really not educated on commercial leasing. But here's the thing. You want somebody to represent you effectively and efficiently to make sure that that landlord doesn't have you in a lease that's biased and only leaning towards them. Pinpoint Brokers, allow one of our commercial real estate agents to represent you. Because just like golf, as we all know, you got to know how to pick the correct iron when you're looking at the right distance to be a success on that court, just like you want to be a success in your business. Let Pinpoint Brokers represent you at your next commercial lease location. At Pinpoint, you never have to worry about your loan or your location ending up in the rough. Just in case you're in one, come to Pinpoint so we can get you out to your next successful business location. Starts right here with Pinpoint Brokers. Just like your next location. Perfect. At Pinpoint, you'll always have a whole one experience. So let Pinpoint Brokers point you in the right direction for your next commercial lease space and for your next commercial loan. At Pinpoint, we point you in the right location. Visit us at pinpointbrokers.net and like our Facebook page, the Pinpoint Commercial Underwriters, and also like our foundation page, the Pinpoint Foundation. Thank you. Peace. We out.
All right, y'all guys, we back. Everybody out there with the Pinpoint Podcast, we're sitting down here with Karim and Dr. Nelson, and we're gonna go back into it. We're gonna start getting into some social things around here. We talked about, y'all know, at the end we're gonna go into this real estate. But right now, let's go into some social things because I know when you left out, Karim, we start talking about the events, the current events that's going on today. We talked about the things that you see, especially with the young man who had an accident. And what was that called? The rare disease? What?
Dextrocardia. It's more of an anomaly. Like it's like
not a disease.
It's like an anomaly, a kind of normal anatomy, which means it's just some people are just born that way. They're healthy, but they're just born
with the heart on the
right side.
So you've been in the doing trauma, in the ER, and all of that. You see a lot of things happening. Cause people young, a lot of young men, a lot of young teenagers coming in, gunshot wounds, stab wounds, all kind of violent act that have been perpetrated against them or they perpetrated against themselves. You, I know, Karim, being out there in the industry, being out there, as you said, as a businessman. I like the way you redirected the promotion name. As a businessman in promotions. How about that? Tell me the thing, how do y'all think about these young men today? Because, I say the darndest thing, and I always say it, bring it up on every last one of my podcasts. Lately, I've been finding myself. Because you got these young men today, young men, young women. I'm assuming they're making millions. Now, when we was young, we were trying to get to M or M's or whatever, just making some money to get out the rat race, to get out the streets. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go back to them streets because you know what them streets give you. You know what they bring you. You see it more than me and Karim. We might have been in the street. I don't know if he's been in it. I have.
I've been in the streets.
Been in the streets.
Yeah, that's part of the journey.
Man, you've seen a lot of things, experience, but he's actually there on a more day basis because he's the one preparing the people.
Recipient of the street.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So you out there seeing it. What do you think about these guys? And I tell them all the time, how y'all millionaires and y'all beefing with one another and want to act like you street, or you might even be street, you put yourself in the street, because if you got money, you don't need to be in the street. But then you see them coming in and out. What kind of message you would give them? And then what you see when you're operating on them, how you feeling? Because you got to have, whether you have a feeling of compassion or a feeling of frustration, a feeling is there. So tell me what you feel about that, and what you think need to change, and how they got there. Who gonna go first?
You want to talk about first?
No, go ahead. I'll come back.
Great
question.
Great question.
We're gonna toast
down, because it's important. Right?
Because it's definitely important. Cheers. Cheers.
So if we could come up with a solution,
now you gotta drink that.
So if we come with a solution to this, we can fix a lot of problems in our community and probably society. I think life is about adapting and evolving. If you don't adapt and evolve in life, you essentially, you die in a sense. Where you don't succeed, or you actually, die, because you got to adapt and evolve to your environment. I think that transition is hard. I think you have a lot of individuals, young men in particular, that are transitioning from the streets into this circle where they actually have resources and money. And to people that from the outside looking in, it's like, you have money, why do you need to still be in the streets? Well, you gotta understand the streets raising, right? It's equivalent to, we grew up with moms. I grew up with my mom. I know single parent households. It's essential to us. It's the same thing as us saying, hey, I made it now. I don't need my mom per se, right? Because these streets raised them in a lot of cases. So even though
a lot of them still mom babies.
They still got mom, yeah. But these people, the people in the street were the first people to pull them in. And if I know you've been in the streets.
But they ain't in the streets though. People like us, we raise our kids not away from the streets because we done went through it. So we put ourselves in positions in different areas to where they don't have to see the things that we see, but it seems like sometimes, some way, somehow they gravitate back to to what we took them out of and didn't want to expose them to.
No, I think, well, then we talk, let me differentiate. You got some people that really came out of the streets that have made it and still in the streets, and then you got some people that have never been in the streets that gravitate towards the streets.
Right.
Now, those people that gravitate towards the streets, they're looking for an identity, right? They got parents that were in the streets and made it out, and that's a cool life to them. They want to identify with the streets because that's cool.
DNA.
It's DNA, but or because it's cool or it's popular,
Right.
it's hip. That's a different breed. But then you got some people that came out of the streets and now they've made it, but they're still in the streets because those people in the streets are the people that raised them. And it's hard to turn your back on them and not do the things that you used to do because these are the people that you raised around and kind of contributed to your upbringing.
So
we talk. It depends on what you're talking. You're talking about like people that made it out or people that just never had to be in the streets, but they gravitated.
I'm talking about both of the era today, and we want to take the ages from, just say, from 16 to 30, because they both identifying with one another.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of crazy things. You know, they are not respectful as we were when we was growing
Absolutely.
up. You'll see us get into a fight, and a grown person walk by, we don't stop and respect them.
Absolutely.
You see two young people get into a fight today, all our grown ass walk by, they might try to fight us.
Yeah.
It's just a difference. You follow what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you on that part. I'm with you on that. So you talk like respect for elders. It's a culture change. You know, it's something that hasn't been passed down. You know, and I think that's because certain skill sets and certain things that, as far as respect, hadn't been passed down.
Do you ever talk to them in that trauma room while you're operating on them?
All the time.
And do you feel like you've reached anyone, and has anybody came back and say thank you, Doc?
I think
Yes.
I think I have.
I've watched this, and he's modest, and he ain't going.
We'll give it to him. This big phone call.
Yeah, he will speak on it because I've been in those spaces, in those rooms where a random person would come out of nowhere and be like, "Man, where I know you from?" And he'd be like, "No, man, you look familiar too." Out of his humility, right? And then, like, man, you was my doctor. And they said that I had 48 hours to live. I've been in these rooms with him. I can't. See, he want me to always marginalize things that happens, but I can't all the time. This is opportunity to really like speak on it because you asked a question. And I've been in these rooms where motherfuckers be like, yo, I was your patient, Dr. Nelson. And here I am, and we might be out partying somewhere, having a good time, celebrating, whatever. Fellowshipping, high-fiving, how we do, right?
Right.
And somebody say, I know you. And I'd be like, sit on the sideline watching, but
And that tree come back to you.
I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, whoa, no, this is my doctor. He saved my life, I was dying. But,
Wow.
he plays it down and he won't, acknowledge it or say, anything about it, which is, listen, I don't know. I ain't saved nobody alive, but I say that to say like, that happens a lot with them. And in his world, that's not something he's gonna be like putting out there. But I see it on next to him. I'm like, whoa. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. It's one of those things. You want to kind of pat yourself on the back for things you do right sometimes, but a lot of times you focus on the things that went wrong. Right?
Yeah,
and that's kind of how your development and continue education and try to get better every day.
So do you criticize yourself when you feel like you say when you did wrong? What's wrong when you're trying to save somebody or something happened? Like you said earlier, I always say, I I never chase a dollar. I never chase a client. I don't do any of that. If something meant for you, it ain't got nothing to do with you in life. It's gonna happen. I don't sit up and jump up and try to catch this money that's flying through the air. If my hand so happen to be out and it fall in my hand, that means it's meant for me. So when you got things that's meant for you, how do you feel when you see the hope and the opportunity to whisper something in this patient's ear to help change them because you know the life that they were living?
I mean,
and you got their medical record. I don't want to know about their medical record.
Right, true.
Right.
Well, you always take the opportunity to speak to people. You know, if you get an opportunity to talk to young people and they can relate to you, you know, you try. You know, in a lot of these situations, though, until it's all said and done, it's so fast and so critical. You don't necessarily get that opportunity to really talk to them candidly. It's always people around. And I've had a few opportunities. Young man who's referred, I can remember that situation. I did have an opportunity to talk to him. And, you know, you hope you make some change, you know. It's tough, though, because you continue to see the trends and you continue to see it get worse and worse. The cycle, right?
So what's the word cycle? Stabbing, shooting, both? Which one is greater?
Shooting is bad here. Shooting is bad. I mean, you know, people don't...
You think it's because of open guns and law?
I think it's got just a lot to do with the times we're living in. You know, it's got a lot to do with the times we're living in. You know, it's the shoot first, ask questions later. It's the, you know, I ain't gonna fight you, I'm gonna shoot you. I mean, you made a nice reference to like, hey, when we were young, we fight it out.
Right.
That might be your best friend. You know, fighting in middle school might be your best friend in high school.
Right. And through life.
Through life. But you know, kids don't get that opportunity because the way the culture is now. You know, you shoot first. I mean, I kind of reference, you know, Takeoff, you know, Atlanta Royalty Migos, Reverend Migos, who got shot recently. I mean, not even involved in this altercation. You know, you shoot somebody, you know, for something minor, some minor, altercation, and now you don't even have a chance to like apologize or make up or see, you know, what type of person that person was going to be, or if y'all could make it right later. You don't get that opportunity. You know, and so in medicine, I think it's tough. And I always say this. You know, if you're not a little nervous or a little anxious every time you go in the room, you make mistakes. You should probably get out of medicine because you should always be that way. You should always be on edge because you should always want to do a great job. You don't have the room for error is very small.
You see, you mentioned medicine. You see a lot. You know, it's a lot of what's a fentanyl. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of overdoses. You see a lot of people dying from that. What do you think causing that? I mean, of course, you know what's causing people taking drugs. But why do you think they're going more their way? Karim, you tell me that. Why do you think? Younger people. I mean, because they
here's my position. My position is that young people are, I think, and it all circles back to my position on our generation, my generation, not giving them the tutelage to have the level of success that we didn't have, right? That's just one layer.
The tutelage, you mean the mentoring?
We didn't mentor
right.
the generation before us. So as a result, they're not equipped with the information that we had to figure out, right? So that's one part. The second part is that the young people had access to the information that we had that we didn't teach them, that we had a chance to give them, right? So as a result, they're, what's it called? There's a word for what I'm speaking of. In 1 second, when it comes to their level of discretion it raises because they don't have the fear of drugs the way we had it. You know, the way we feared drugs, it was like crack. Nah, we ain't doing that because they showed us a picture of what crack was like. they showed us a picture of what, you know, certain drugs was like. We had like, we could see that shit. Now they never seen it. They never seen what those, they don't know what those worlds is like. So as a result, I think that leads them into taking a drug like a pill, right? Fentanyl or whatever, to say, okay, all right, I can take this pill, it's gonna take my pain away, but it's also going to lend itself to so many other things.
And I think both you guys, and I know we talked off camera a little bit about it, but I think both y'all hit the nail on the head. It's a multifaceted problem, obviously, right? It'll be easy to solve. One is access. They have access to a lot of these drugs. We have access to. These are like these are drugs that are like, manufactured, and we didn't have money or know how to get these type of drugs. The other thing is like, this stuff is all, they're cutting everything with fentanyl. Some of these kids don't even know they're getting fentanyl and different drugs and these other drugs they're taking. And that's
Are these prescription drugs?
Well, no, they'll cut heroin, they'll cut anything with fentanyl. Now, like, you can cut anything with fentanyl to make it stronger. And everybody's looking for that quick high. It's that microwave. So they'll go and try to, take a pill and not know it's cut with certain things. And that's always been the danger street of drugs, right? Think about it. We didn't have money to get pills and stuff like that. What was the most you saw somebody doing when you were young? Marijuana, smoking some?
Yeah,
marijuana. There wasn't even the strong, potent stuff they smoking now.
No, they ain't had that.
Well, you had it. Cocaine, really? Nobody could afford that. So, like, they have access.
Cocaine was a rich man's drug.
Right. They have access to so many of these drugs, and they don't have the fear that we had, like you said, of these drugs. They don't have the fear. They don't have anybody telling them, hey, these drugs can be bad. So we're the generation after the heroin, the crack epidemic. We saw parents and relatives kind of strung out on these drugs. They didn't. We're the generation after that. So our kids and kids younger than us, they're not seeing that, like you said. We saw that. So that was a big deal for us. So now they're kind of getting back into these drugs that we thought that we were like, hey, these drugs are awful. We don't want to deal with these drugs. And on top of that, you got fentanyl, which is like 10 times stronger than this stuff.
20 times.
20 times. You're cutting everything away. And so that's one of the issues. So, I guess more important than why we have this problem, what the problem is the solution, is always education. So we really got to step in as a generation and talk to kids about different things and instilling them fear and the caution to kind of be careful about it.
Well, you can't instill no fear in somebody.
The measurement is different.
Yeah, that's fear-led and don't have no will to even try to listen to you, give them any type of advice. Because they feel like they got money. You gotta remember, these young men and young women today, they got avenues where they making a different type of money than it was when we were. So, like, they making money. They appear to be on social media, be knowledgeable of real estate. They appear on social media to be knowledgeable now, opening up a business, but not everybody opening up a business understand that you might be an employee and you're not an employer, because it takes a lot to be a competent employer. You gotta pay your taxes, you gotta pay your bills, you gotta pay your employees. Then you pay yourself. You are the last person to get paid in your business to grow. So you got these type of people that's making this certain type of money. But however, they out here doing these foolish acts. Why you feel that is, to go back to the original question. What do you think on their mind to make them act the way they act? And before we go there, this is what I just feel. I just feel a lot of these kids, a lot of these young men, a lot of these young women with respect, a lot of them act off emotion, especially young men. They so emotional tied into their feelings to where they forgot they are men. And any little word offends them to where now they gotta prove a point. to the mass. Because when you're popular, when you're a celebrity, you forget who you are. You start living for that public eye. And if somebody says something disrespectful to you from afar, or who you don't even know, but they just said a quote or said a message or whatever on a social media, like you gunning for them.
We're trying to live up to that expectation. That's what I say to your point. They get, and it's a lot of it is ignorance, right? But they try to live up to what people expect of them, right?
They living for themselves, living for the people, not the
Yeah. So for example, right? And it's to your point. And I don't have the remedy for it, but I understand because I see it's a cycle. It's like if I know you to be, or let's say people know me to be the promoter or party or somebody that's activated, that's like doing certain shit. When A or B, C come along, they expect me to do certain things. It's no different when I come up in their world and they might, whatever space they deal in, I expect them to do what I know them to do. So here we come with that vicious cycle of living up to that expectation. And it's like sometimes that expectation should not even exist. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? It's like if you know me to be the party guy, you're like, oh damn, it's time to party. All right, if you know him to be the kill guy, when it's time to kill, I'm gonna call him. It's like, bruh, because you see me around the situation, that's not the case. But in our society, we tend to live up to the expectation that we set for ourselves.
Right, others set.
Or that others set for us to have. And I think that is the differentiator of a lot of us. Some of us be like, you know what, nah, like I ain't it. But some people be like, you know what? That nigga know me to be the person that get them in the club, or that person that shoots somebody when it's time to shoot, or they know me to be that person that can go get a shooter when it's time. You know what I'm saying? We live up to that expectation. And that, I think, is the issue that goes unaddressed or untapped within our community, because it's like you don't have to like live up to nobody's expectation other than yourself. Nah, we ain't doing that. I ain't nah.
Right.
And that's just my position, because I see it happening, and not only just my community I grew up in, but other communities. But people just they feed into the expectation. Oh man, his uncle told, so he come from a telling family, or his uncle, was the killer, and they promote that amongst the younger generation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, like this kid ain't even know his uncle from nowhere.
I mean, it just all goes back to, you kind of asked me earlier, like, when did I decide to I wanted to go into medicine, and kind of his, how he got on track to kind of play ball and be in business. You have to have goals, right?
Right.
If you don't have any set goals at a young age, I think it opens up space for you to be influenced by other people.
Yeah.
Get into these lanes that you otherwise wouldn't want to get in. You probably wouldn't want to be in.
Whether
And
they
you feel
want
like
to
it's
be
your
in,
only choice.
whether they want to be in or not, when you're young and you're around a negative crowd, how can you have goals? You have a goal. The goal might be negative.
Maybe negative.
And the negative goal might, well, it ain't gonna be no might. That negative goal would be more or less like, hey, look here, this is what I'm on right now.
That's it. But, and the thing about it is, you just need that one person to tell you, to give you, or educate you, or give you the opportunity to be be in another lane and to get yourself in another circle. Let's look at that.
So let's go to this here, because y'all know the podcast is all things real estate, and we want to get into the real estate. I touched bases on always about that, because that goes back into real estate. Because real estate, unfortunately, somebody in the hospital, like one hospital just goes down. Somebody going to jail, somebody builds a new jail, they person in real estate. So go back to Purifi. Let's talk about your business. Your business is where you give. Explain your business. When y'all give energy boosts. I know I get them. We get the drills to help you boost your energy up and you get through the day. Now that's something when we was young we wouldn't even think about, dream about. That's something somebody think, well, you getting up, you on your own, what you doing? Well, I'm getting energy. But however, you gotta have a location. Your first location, Purifi, that's the name of your company.
Purifi.
Is it Purifi?
Purifi.
Purifi. Explain what Purifi is. Give us your first location. And what made you get into that business? And Karim, what made you want to get into that and help promote it?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
So the crazy part about it is, me and my partner that started with me, and I mean, Karim, my brother, he always was with me through the whole process of coming up with ideas and business plans and vice versa. But it came out of the pandemic, and you asked me about the stress level and stuff like that. The stress level has never been as high. I've never seen morale and stress level as high as it was in COVID. Never. Nurses, physicians, providers, whatever. So around the time when it was kind of getting a little bit better, we could see the nurses were a little burnt out. We were a little burnt out. We were tired.
So COVID is real.
COVID is real, man.
Everybody think COVID is
COVID
real.
is
Well, not
real.
everybody. A lot of people think COVID is real.
Listen, I try not to get political and then that stuff, but I can't roll. COVID is real. Real people died. I had to talk to real families. I had to sit in rooms with real brothers, mothers, sisters, daughters, sons, and tell them that, your relative is not coming home, ever. Not making it. So, COVID is real to me.
Right.
Whether you chose to be at home and think it's not real, that's your business. But for us medical professionals, it's real. It was real, it still is real.
Right.
And through that process and just the day in, day out of doing that, we decided that we wanted to promote health and do something somewhat medical, but make an environment that was more relaxed and more geared towards promoting health instead of reacting to health emergencies, which is what we're doing today. Basically, we threw around some ideas. We thought maybe like an IV hydration vitamin lounge, right? We call it a lounge because we don't want people to feel like they're in the clinic. We want you to feel like you're in the lounge.
Very nice, Mom.
Thank you, sir. Not as nice as this, but we tried.
I appreciate
Hey,
it.
come on, man. But it gives you an opportunity, and we thought of it as not only as health like promotion lounge. Essentially, what it is, we do IV hydration, vitamin infusion, injections. We even have like drinks, healthy drinks, and oral medication, or like vitamins and sprays, but also as an alternative lounge, right? Now listen, this is a cheat day, right? We drink and we chilling today.
Right. Just a day on Wednesday, hump day.
Listen, tomorrow, Thursday, you may want to watch the game, and instead of having a drink,
Get IV.
you come through the
Because I know you have IV parties.
You come through
Drip
party.
party.
We did my brother threw a Super Bowl party.
Right.
So we had a big Super Bowl party, and we did a healthy alternative, or some way to kind of maybe even your pregame to like your unhealthy activities later, but to kind of promote health and give people an opportunity to do something healthy and still enjoy the environment of a lounge and the like camaraderie of a lounge.
What made you pick the location? And then we go to what made you want to be a part of it. Because I know you want to promote, you got to believe in something before you want to put yourself into it. So give me the location first, and give me.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my partner, my business partner over there, Jonathan, and he picked the location. You know, we were trying to find a location that we thought would be in an area where we could be a part of the community. That was a big part too. I want to be a part of the community, be in a location where we could definitely improve, you know, help be a part of the community and improve the health of a certain community. He lives out here. He said, hey, there's an opportunity out in Swanee, you know, to be a part of these schools, be a part of these programs, be a part of some of these professional teams, and that's why we picked this location.
Nice.
Okay?
Picking prime real estate location.
And a prime real estate.
So what make you pick a prime position when you say,
Well,
I believe it is and want to promote it versus something?
Well, he
from the club?
already said it. We
But it's different for you because you
I
promote
know,
the
no,
club.
but he already said it. But we support each other 100%, right? So when he made the decision to go in this space, I was like, okay, all right, because it was something that we had already like talked about. It wasn't like an obsolete conversation that we had never discussed. So it was a conversation that we had, and as a medical professional, he's seen opportunity and said, okay. And I had no idea that he was, and this is the truth, right? I had no idea that she was like, okay, this could be like a business. Because upon him approaching me saying, yo, I'm looking into this, I was like, all right, this is, you know, I support it. But then he was like, nah, bro, this is an industry that is like untapped. Only certain people can do it. Only, you know, certain things that were in place. And I was like, all right, bro, let's go. Yeah. It wasn't long. It's like your people saying to you, yo, this is the next thing. So that's what it was, the next thing. I was like, okay, all right, let's go. Because when you put it through his machine in terms of the medical profession, okay, it's tested. When you put it through the societal part, okay, damn, they want it. He says they say they want it, they need it. They say they want it. Okay, it's a perfect marriage. So it just made sense. It was a really easy, decision for me. Like once he said it, like, all right, let's go. What we need to do? All right, here's how I come in. Here's what I do. Here's how I can contribute. Here's how I can add value. Here's how I can say, okay, this is how we penetrate the space.
You immediately seen the vision.
Absolutely.
Visionary.
Yeah.
And once again, I just want to say, I'm definitely not the brains in this operation. My partner is definitely the brains in this operation.
Right.
He picked this spot.
John. Absolutely.
Listen, our brother Jonathan.
Yeah.
He asked me about my brother code. He thought I had a million brothers. I had to explain to him how the brother code works.
Right.
But he's
How it work?
The brother code, listen, hey, your friends are the family you choose.
Right.
So any friend I'm that close with, I don't have any best friends or great friends. If you're on that level with me, you're my brother and my sister. That's it. And Jonathan, my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
And he is definitely a smart cat. So his vision out here.
Well, I got a different code for the brother from another mother.
Let me see. Let me hear.
My code for brother from another mother, y'all gotta go through some things.
Oh yeah.
You gotta see if one of y'all will be there for one another without you having to ask or him having to ask. You kind of like, you married, right? You know you got kids, right? You know your kids need something. They don't have to ask you. You know to provide it. You know your wife needs something. She don't have to ask you. You see it. You provide it. Brother from another mother is the same way. That's the only way they can fit it. Like I have several brothers from another mother. That's one sitting right over there.
That's solid, dude. Right?
Yeah, I know he's solid. I've been dealing with it for 30 years, since 1993. Next year will be 30. So what I mean by that, we done been through things, we done had disagreements, we done had fallout. Because I don't believe no brother from another mother can never always agree with. If you always agree with each other, what you trying to get over with?
Nobody
And
likes
vice
it.
versa. You
No.
follow what I'm saying?
No.
So that's just my brother from another mother code. You making sure that y'all done experience some things in life, and I know I can depend on him, and he can depend on me. What us happen if he picks up the phone and calls me and needs me, just say if it's a die-hard situation, I can't ask him why, because we done surpassed that.
Right.
I just gotta be there because he done already weighed out. I got a wife, I got a daughter, I got a business, I got people that depend on me. So when he pick up that phone and he elects to call me, I know he done gave all that thought. And that's a true need. So I can't question. And vice versa. That's how I value that brother from another mother. Not just because of what you might say, you're a little older.
Yeah.
We have to go through some things.
Absolutely.
Because that even scripture tells you not to get biblical. But however, there is a friend that's closer than a brother. And a lot of my friends, God bless the dead, my brother passed with cancer a couple of years ago. Well, November 7th this year made 2 years with cancer. I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
But I have friends of mine that I grew up with that's a lot closer, and I depend on much faster than them than I would my flesh and blood. So, you know, a lot of us throw that word around, brother from another mother. But when I use it personally, and they know when I use it, and I know they use it, it's a true brother from another mother, because we done been tested with a big thing. So I don't just say you can have a good friend and it can build up to that. You can have a good associate and it can build up to that. You can meet somebody, you can feel he alright, it can build up to that. But time tells you if it's gonna actually be that.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. And I think just kind of throw another log on that fire. You know, it's people that your present and future is tied to. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and what I mean by that is, there's no way that one of us is gonna be successful without the other, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that
You gotta profit share with each other.
you got this. We're so our businesses, Karim and Jonathan, our life and businesses are so intertwined that we either gonna all make it,
They see.
or we in sync, right? Or we're all gonna fit.
Right.
And that's kind of, and anybody that gets into a relationship with you like that, because you know we got, like you said, you got friends.
Right.
And I don't say good or great friends or best friends, but you got friends and associates.
Right.
You kick it with them, they fun, you have a good time. But when people bump up your relationship, when your relationship gets to a point where your finances
Right.
and your day-to-day life is tied,
That's what I mean. That's brother from another
that's your
mother.
from another mother, right?
So right.
That's it.
Because you kicked in the word finances.
Finances, man.
Different.
Every relationship, be it with your kids, be it with your wife, be it with your mother, your father, your friend, it's gonna all come back to the finances.
What's the most common reason for divorce, right?
Finances.
That's it. So if you can make with somebody, anybody, whether it's a friend or somebody, a relationship that's of the opposite sex, you know what? When you two get to a point, your finances are tied to each other, and y'all can make that work.
Right. And y'all trust each other.
You either married or a brother from another mother, right? So listen, I agree with you. So you trust each other that much because not that money's everything. It's not the money.
Never the money.
It's the security, right? Your finances is what keeps your family fed and keep a roof over their head. So if you get in a relationship where y'all make business decisions together and your finances are tied together, and you take that risk with that person, that better be your brother from another mother.
Right.
If it goes south, everybody gonna suffer in your house. Right?
Yeah. Everybody suffers on both ends.
That's it. That's
But
it.
there's nothing wrong with suffering because that comes with success.
Oh, for sure.
Before you meet and greet success, you're gonna have a relationship with failure. All right, so y'all, we're gonna take 5 real quick. We're gonna come right back at the Pinpoint Podcast.
Introducing to you Pinpoint Foundation's Real Estate Lounge, a unique experience in all things real estate and other business ventures. Pinpoint is an expansive company that is driven to put our customers' best interests first in all aspects. From commercial and residential real estate representation, where we do closings here at the office, to our 501c3, mentoring and nonprofit events, filming productions, and courier services, come let Pinpoint point you in the right direction and experience business better than you have before. We're not a regular real estate company, we're a cool real estate company. Visit us on our websites, pinpointbrokers.net and pinpointfoundation.org, and check us out on our social media platforms. Pinpoint Foundation is always accepting donations through Zelle to Pinpoint Foundation or through mail-in checks.
Welcome back, Carter. Welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. We're going to wrap this thing up right here, but we got to touch back bases with Dr. Nelson and Mr. Karim Harris. So I know we left off, we was talking about a different thing, touched a little bit bases on the youth, on how we feel about them. We touched bases on Purify, how you started. But I know when we was off air, Karim, you told us you was going currently studying for your PhD.
PhD in business management.
Tell me what made you want to study for your PhD at this time and this age.
Well, for me, it was motivation from Dr. Nelson and having no, this is true. Having leaning towards a pathway to go in terms of your educational background and trajectory, right? So when I finished my master's program, I went and got a certificate in project management from Georgia Tech, right? And from there, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do with these credentials that I have? So for me, it was just like, all right, I can, I was working. At the time, one of my business partners was the provost of a university. And I was like, okay.
He was a what?
Was a provost.
Provost, what is that?
The provost of a university is sometimes like the president or somebody that is representative of the organization in an academic, way. So I was like, okay, then what can I do with my degrees? I already had an MBA. I went back, got my PMP from Georgia Tech, and I was like, okay, what can I do to solidify? I wanted to go as high in education as I could. So I went and got I went and pursued my PhD in business management. So here we are. So if you think about the process of getting your MBA, I got that in 2016. Then I went and said, all right, I'm gonna get another certificate from Georgia Tech in project management. So I decided to get my PhD. I enrolled in this program that I felt was suitable to what my endeavors were. And I started that journey.
And then I know you say you're at a couple of colleges now.
Yeah, so now
hold on, we gotta do this one shout out.
Hey,
you gotta pour a little something.
I got you.
And we got to toast because that's what it's about. Us black men, period, motivating one another. Oh shit! Yeah, you was
like that.
Yeah, no, y'all put something in there. You gotta get real toast. Here you go, cold cup.
So I'll tell you this why we toast and why we fellowship, because it's important. Because oftentimes in our community we think that
Tell me wait.
that's when. So now oftentimes we think in our community that we don't we are in pursuit of certain things, especially when it comes to success. So for me, I decided to get my PhD in business management, right?
Right.
And it was a turning point for me. So upon that journey, upon embarking on that journey, I decided that there was going to be some sacrifices that had to be made, because getting a degree or getting an accomplishment at the highest level, that's a journey. And I learned that from my brother, because it's not no easy embarkment, going through that process. So for me, it was one of those things where I was like, are you gonna finish? Can you finish? Like, be realistic. Like, you activated. Like, you got access in the community. You don't really need to do it.
I think, and not to interrupt, I know you're kind of closing, finishing your thought. It goes back to like, us being competitive, man. It's a lifelong learning. And then we talk about friendly competition, right?
Thank you.
Come on with it. We compete, man. We want to be the best. We rest in peace, Kobe, Mamba mentality. That's it. That's us. We throwing up 400 shots before the game and 200 after.
Yeah.
So we talked about, like I said, we talk about everything.
Right.
And so he's like, he was telling me what I wanted. I was like, do it, right? Because, this life, you got to be a lifelong learner. You got to adapt and pivot. And so I never thought I'd be in this space next door. I never thought I'd be in this industry we're doing, IV hydration, vitamin infusion. But listen, you see opportunity to pivot, and you make decisions based on what they'll do for you in the future, not what they'll do for you right now.
And you take advantage
of opportunities.
Take advantage of
I take advantage of opportunities.
But I know that you use Kobe the Mamba. Yeah, I like Kobe. I'm a boxing fan. I'm gonna have to roll with Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, let's go with Floyd. We can do Floyd. We like Floyd.
Yeah, you know, Floyd. I know a lot of people hate on him out there.
Nah.
But I'm a true boxing fan, and I say that young man. Hey man, he do a lot now.
Which one, from Grand Rapids or the other one?
I'm talking about don't hate on him.
Well, I think so.
Yeah, look, Floyd Mayweather, he, in my opinion, nobody else's, he's the epitome of a true hustler showing hard work in his craft.
Oh yeah.
That man, he didn't, just like the Mamba. I don't know what the Mamba did. I didn't follow him like that, but of course I watched him a lot. But Floyd Mayweather, he don't drink, he don't smoke, he hustle, he talk shit when he beat your motherfucking ass. People forgot about that.
Well, people get so caught up in the personality.
Yeah.
Like a Jordan,
yeah.
and a Kobe, and a Floyd, and they forget
how hard they work.
To be at that level, to be that good,
You
the
work
best
hard.
in the world, maybe the best ever.
Yeah.
You gotta be, you can't just be talented.
Right.
It's a lot of talented people. You gotta be a hard worker as well as talented.
And that's why
what makes you a
dog.
You gotta be a dog, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be a dog. Listen, you in the, listen, they got so many things on Instagram by Kobe and what he say, and him getting up at 5:30 and shooting out the
Inspiration.
shot. Come on with it. Like Michael Jordan's the same way.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather the same way.
And Floyd the same way. And they get a bad rap because they're like,
Floyd
you
Mayweather
were nice to anybody. But imagine this. I'm gonna paint a picture. Then I'm gonna tell you another story. So if you give me like 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Imagine you're the best at what you do. You're the very, very best, but it's a team sport. You might be the best ever. You're not just the best now. You might be the best ever at this team sport. But you gotta have these 4 other people on the court with you to play this game. You're the best, and you work harder than everybody else on the team. And you way better than them. So they're causing you to lose, right? Because if they worked as hard as you probably would win. So now, you pushing them, and they get mad at you. And you the one working the hardest, and you the best on the team.
Right.
How frustrating is that, right? Like, at least work as hard as me. And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you at least work as hard as me, then I can be like, okay, we did our best. But if I'm working harder than you and I'm the best on the team, then I can't help but be irritated or frustrated when we're not winning. Because you're not putting in the effort at the time I'm putting in.
But
Go ahead. No, hey, listen.
But on another note, in boxing, you got a team. You got your cut man. You got your trainer. You got people around you. Guess what? The good thing about that is you ain't gotta worry about the other people not performing.
It's true.
You can just worry about your people in that corner who's seeing what you don't see when you out there in the ring fighting on your own.
That's why Floyd undefeated. Because he don't have to worry about himself.
That's right. But he got to worry about himself because he's out there in a dangerous sport, getting hit in the head, getting hit in the gut, getting hit all the time.
Right.
That's why you master art of not getting hit. But I like all of them. I'm just talking
No,
about
Floyd probably one of the most skilled boxers ever. I give you that. I'll never take that away from him.
But you can use Kobe, which I got.
Kobe, Jordan, these guys.
But I just like to use Floyd.
No, Floyd great. I love Floyd, man. Listen, hey, take nothing away from story number 3. I guess I'm on story number 3. We're down in Florida on a guys trip. We got a little place in Destin. We take a guys trip down there, right? This is how much of a competitor we both are. We both very competitive. So we coming back from hanging out all night. It's got to be a time in the morning, man. What you think? 2, 3? Anyway, it's like 8 of us, right? So this little subdivision down here, and we got a house down there. And so we get out of the Uber, and I'm like, hey, I bet you I can beat you. Like, cause I don't do too much of this. He usually instigates. Cause tall cats always think they can beat us, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, but really gonna tell the story.
I'm gonna tell the story right now.
Right now.
I don't talk about myself too much, but listen, I was a D1 athlete. I ran a 4.37. There's no way this dude gonna beat me in a foot race, even at this age. But he thought he can because he's taller, and he was a little, he's an athlete. We both athlete, college athletes. So we get out of this Uber. Now, when I tell you, this community is all like people hanging out on vacation, and this is like what, November. So it's people up on the decks looking down, and we doing this race, right? Like we racing, we about to take off. So our boy go down there, we call the race, we running. We start running. I was like, oh man, this dude can't be. When I tell you this dude took off, he was gone. He had at least 2-3 steps on him. So I had to shift in the 5th gear. So I'm catching up with him. And we almost at it. I get a step on it. He tried shifting to that 5th gear and
pull up.
Now he fall down, break his elbow.
Oh!
Go down. Broken elbow and everything.
Man down. Y'all know I did that on my 50th.
You did it on 50th?
Man, my brother, we got the race. He come home.
Did you break your elbow?
I didn't break shit. They actually cheated.
So
we had
cheated me.
Yeah.
So that ain't even the point of the story. But whatever. He falls, good race. He goes down, breaks an elbow. I say, hey bro, we need to take you to this hospital. So we can put this splint on you and settle in. He said, he ain't gonna show us that he hurt. We go buy him a sling. He hangs out for 2 more days. Comes all the way back home. Waits 2 weeks to go get an x-ray and say he chipped his elbow. And literally got his rate promotion back. But listen, it's just
that competitiveness.
Listen, I'll tell you what.
And it'll
get you in trouble. It'll get you in trouble a few times. But when you got that kind of spirit, man, that dog at work, when you ain't gonna give up and you gonna let nobody see you down, but you know push you into it. It's gonna take you a long way.
But you know what the best thing about the story? Of how each one of y'all push each other's drive. Which goes back to why he said, you inspired him to go back, even though he got his master's and everything else, and he continued with life to get his PhD. So we're gonna drink to that.
We're gonna
because
drink
we don't have a lot of brothers.
That's it.
We don't have a lot of brothers doing that.
That's real shit. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And vice versa, man.
Yeah, we like
We gotta keep each other sharp.
We inspire each other.
We gotta keep each other sharp, and you know it's always a great thing when you can when you can speak to the sharpness or speak to the defining moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, who wants to follow their little brother? Who wants to follow their, you know what I mean, best friend? Like, nah, my nigga, like, all right, sharp, yeah.
You ain't got no
I'm trying to
ego.
be sharp too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. And that's just, you know, like, yeah.
Ain't no fault.
I don't want to be like not sharp. I want to be sharp too. So that's got to be the conversation or the attitude or the approach that young generations have. That's what I'm saying. Like,
They gotta see that inspiration.
yeah, like,
Side by side.
yeah, always. Like, I ain't scared to give him his bag, his flowers while he here. Like,
While he here, not while he gone.
Thank you for showing me and sharing the journey with me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your story. Thank you for allowing me to be a vessel or a piggyback off of whatever you're going through as you're going through it.
Well, he talk about me, man.
You know, that's
He
just
say,
the
well,
point.
he humble. Listen, we different arenas, man. In different arenas, we pull each other in there. I mean, I wouldn't even be in business if it weren't for him.
Right.
The first business I ever did was like, bro, trust me, jump in this with me.
Right.
And so we lead each other in different industries and different areas. But you know, it creates an environment where we get into several circles and it gives us more and more opportunities to do good things.
So what y'all see for Purifi in the future? Because I know y'all open up one in North Carolina, and you open up one
Nashville in about 2 weeks.
in Nashville. So you got one in North Carolina and in Tennessee.
And Nashville, Tennessee. We are so future. So it's not a franchise, you know, and I think that's the beauty of it because we have our hands in each one. You know, it's a partnership. So, you know, we partner up with other professionals, medical professionals, and other areas that we know, and because we want to keep the brand genuine.
And who came up with the concept of making it a nice lounge like y'all had?
The lounge was definitely. I mean, me and Jonathan kind of brainstormed on it, but I think the lounge we kind of leaned on the lounge thing myself, and I kind of consulted him about doing the lounge because
I noticed you real modest.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Appreciate it.
You real modest, but just say you did.
you know, it was we had a lounge before. We owned a lounge down there, you know, downtown for a while. And so I thought the concept of doing a lounge, an alternative lounge where you have an opportunity to do every once in a while, go to a lounge where you can do kind of health maintenance and things like that versus, you know, the drinking fun, but every once in a while you need a recovery lounge, right?
Yeah, you most definitely
But
need
you can
that.
still watch a game and you can still hang out with your friends and get the camaraderie together, watch and hang out and watch
I
your
mean,
favorite
look,
show.
I've come over there with them one tomorrow to give me another drug. I never knew what Pure IV was. I used to think it was Pure 4. I thought it was some damn water. And I'm like, I don't want to drink that water. I don't want to come water. But I was feeling fatigued a couple of times, and my other partner and our friend over here, she's like, listen here. Over there, they do the drip, so they do the B12 or something. I was talking B12. I remember I used to get the B12 shots back in the day to give you energy. So this day I was feeling real fatigued. So I was like, man, come on, let's walk across the street. Let's see. I get me a damn, see what's going on. And I went in there and I ain't stopped going since. That's when I got the B12. Then I'm like, I ain't know nothing about the
You got a
drip.
bunch of it, yeah.
Yeah, then I ain't know about no damn drip.
You done to be ready yet? Have you done to be ready?
I done.
Do the Myers.
I got the most potent one, whatever that
Oh, you
shit
get the
is.
side. All right.
Yeah, whatever the Pokemon y'all got, I want that good shit. You know what I mean? But you know that's something different that those good old black folk don't understand.
That's a good point.
They thinking, oh man, I ain't taking that shit. No, but that's something that is healthy and building up your immune system. Because what we don't realize as black men, well, blacks period, because black women too, we don't realize we go through so much stress and anxiety unusual from other races, from other ethnicities, because we got so much pressure. A lot of people with going through the identity crisis now, who the fuck they is. You know, these people so confused about who they is, and then they find out who they think they is when I get a DNA sample. I'm a this and I'm a that, but we don't touch that base. That's another podcast. But anyway, we need things like that. Even like going into counseling, going to sit down, talking to somebody to help you figure out your problem. This going to get you some energy to put the vitamins in you that you're not getting because you're so stressed out. So explain exactly the pure IV in the drip. I know I'm picking on it, but you can kind of tell what the different shots are, what the different drips are, because y'all got different type of drips. And whatever we want to talk about, let them know the different type of drips that y'all got and what it does. Just give me 3 of them. And 3 shots.
And I'll tell you, I'm glad you touched on like African Americans and black people and kind of in this space, right? Because, you know, one of the goals was to make it accessible to people, you know, that may not have considered it or may not have access to it in the past, right? So we try to make it affordable. We try to promote it to communities that may not know exactly the benefits of it, right? Which was me. I didn't know, and I was in the medical field, right? I was like, oh, I never went to one before. But when I started reading and doing my research, I understood that the fluids and the vitamins was super important. You know, same thing you, like you said, you didn't know, you came over, you saw it, and you know, you got it and you said, hey, I feel better, or right. You know, it's helping me out. So as far as
it feel better, damn sure it helped and gave me some energy.
It gave you some energy. So like as far as the different types of drips, we have customized drips, but some of the kind of signature drips we have is the Myers, which is you know, a variety of vitamins and minerals like you know, you got calcium, you got vitamin C, you got magnesium, you got all those different things amongst others that put you in give you hydration as well as vitamins that you need to kind of function in daily life. It's a good all-encompassing drip. Some people call it a hangover drip, but it's much more than that. It's a health maintenance drip. You know, you have a recovery drip that includes amino acids and things like that for people that are working out. And they need to, you know, muscle breakdown. They need to help with muscle breakdown and things like that in recovery so they continue to work out. We have a B-Lean, which is one of our most popular drips, which includes a lot of B vitamins and other vitamins and minerals that increase your metabolism to help you kind of burn calories and lose weight when you're trying to get to that point. So, you know, it's you know, amongst others. So it's an all-encompassing like health maintenance place where you can get IV hydration. You can also get IM shots, B12 shots, right? All-in-one lipomino and like Trimune shots that promote like weight loss, also immunity, like you said, and glutathione. So I think, you know, it's more, you know, like they used to say, Tesla's not a car company, it's a tech company. It's kind of like that. It's not an IV hydration, you know, vitamin infusion company. It's more of a health maintenance company. And you know, we're getting into some concierge medicine areas. We're getting into some other areas as well that I think will be really beneficial to people in the future and give people opportunities.
So what would you recommend before we close it out? What would you recommend somebody? First, tell somebody how they can find you. Purifi. You got a website?
Yeah.
You got any of your social media sites you want to shout out?
All that, yeah. You can go to purifiiv, .com. You know, you can also find Purifi on Instagram and Facebook and everything. And if Purifi, Purifiiv.
Say it again.
Purifiiv.
Yeah. Okay.
And, yeah. And we're
That's like a rap.
it's a little bit. But yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I mean, you just look us
Oh,
up.
y'all do drip TikToks.
Oh, we got TikToks all over the place. So
Okay.
yeah. So check it.
So when is the one gonna be open up in North Carolina?
The North Carolina one is open. Charlotte is
Charlotte.
Lake Norman. It's been open for about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
The Nashville one will be open in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
So that'll be your third one.
That'll be the third one.
So you got a Swanee location, Nashville location, and a Charlotte location.
Yep. Once that
So
Nashville-
they can find you on Purifi. That's Purifi.
F-I-I-V. Yep.
Purifi.
Yep.
It's kind of like M-I.
Look, cricket leather. You too young for that one, man. You too young for that one. Yeah.
But nah,
A lot of eyes. There's a lot of eyes.
Yeah. Purify IB. They can find you on all the social media sites. So anybody want to go out there and get them a drip, like they had the song, I got drip for sale. He really do got drip for sale. And we hope you guys enjoy. We hope, like always, we appreciate anybody that look at our Pinpoint podcast. We hope you guys got some out of education out of both Karim and Dr. Nelson over here, and the soon to be Dr. Karim, right?
That's right.
Soon to be.
Tell me when the soon to be gonna come.
In about 4 months.
In about 4 months?
Yeah, 4 months I'll be finished my PhD.
And so we saying God bless us to see February, what is that? February, March of 2023.
Yep.
You'll be Dr. Kareem or
Yep.
Dr. Harris.
Dr. Harris.
Dr. Harris or Dr. Kareem?
Dr. Harris. Both.
Dr. Kareem?
Both.
So what do you want to be called? Dr. Kareem?
Yeah, whatever you're most comfortable.
Just put the
Because the work is the work, and it doesn't stop. So,
But that's what we're going to talk about. We hope you guys enjoyed everything about Pinpoint Podcast. As always, real estate, we touch bases on it, educational. If anybody, we want y'all to go out to our social media sites, that's Pinpoint Foundation, that's Pointe Foundation. You go to YouTube, Pinpoint Foundation, go to our websites, and if you're looking for anything commercial real estate, commercial lease, commercial financing, you can find us on pinpointbrokers.net.
I just want to say this. Being a businessman in Atlanta and understanding and attempting to navigate through the real estate space, right, commercially, I think that what you guys are doing is an amazing thing, right?
Appreciate it.
And it goes underrepresented because you don't know what you don't know, right? So I want to just thank you for allowing us to be here on this platform, allowing us to share our journey, our stories, and our significance to what we're doing. So thank you so much.
And now we'll thank you, Pinpoint Podcast and
Yeah,
Pinpoint
we should.
Family. We always thank every guest because remember, every single guest is special. Every single guest means something. We try to put out the platform to show that there are businessmen out here in the minority group, black businessmen, black businesswomen, that's not nothing wrong with the entertainment world, nothing wrong with acting, nothing wrong with the sport.
Entertainment.
But there are people out here that's doing things other than that. And we out here to show people there are other avenues where you can be successful. Absolutely. And especially coming from a city with 2 men, one soon to be doctor and one current active doctor. Especially doctor in trauma. You don't get that too much, and I gotta appreciate the both of you guys for gracing us with y'all presence and just even showing us on Pinpoint Podcast that y'all will even consider us to speak on and tell everybody out there about your journey, because that's what it's all about. And always speaking positive, because on Pinpoint Podcast, we might talk a little shit, but one thing we ain't gonna never do, nothing controversial, because we don't get into controversy. We got enough of that other shit on TV. Y'all go watch that shit. But you can't get it on Pinpoint Podcast.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
So with that said, we're going to shout out.
Get one, we're going to toast out, right?
We're going to toast out.
Appreciate you, brother.
Cheers.
The Pinpoint Podcast. And y'all go visit us on YouTube, Pinpoint Foundation.